Hello, and we're back with a second part to the Moonlander stream. So, first thing I'm going to do is we kept having an issue with our lander flipping over and falling on its side. So what we're going to do, and I'm just going to change the song that's playing here because it's distracting me. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the center of gravity on our lander. Sure, that sounds like good music. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go into edit mode. We're going to hit A to select all, and we're just going to move it up on the Z-axis so that the feet are close to that center of gravity instead of the center of gravity being up here. Now, let's make it, boom, just like that. Maybe something like that. There we are. And we have our lander. Woo! We're not worried about the stability of the legs. The reason we're not worried about the stability of the legs is because it is hit testing against a box. So yeah, we don't have to worry about 3 points because it's a big box surrounding the thing. Okay, now we will save our crap lander, and we'll export our crap lander as FPX with all the same stuff and overwrite it. Cool. And we're going to close. We're going to save again because why not? And then when we get over to our project, we should be able to go to our meshes, right click and re-import. Boom. Look at that, and it jumped up. And we're going to hit end to drop it on the ground. And let's see if we still have the rolling problem. So we're going to bring it up to hovering. And, bring it a little more. Come on, come on. Oh. Come on, rotate, rotate. Yeah, bastard. Okay. Maybe it's just me. That could very much be the case. Okay, well, anywho. We have adjusted our model, and we will deal with it later to work on stability. Okay, so right now this is fully physics driven, and I decided that's how we're going to leave it. I thought of another way of doing it, but we're going to leave it as is. What we're going to do today is... What are we going to do? We are going to make a... So we've got zones, that landing pads, that fuel. So we're going to rename that to landing pad fuel. Okay. And then we're going to duplicate landing pad fuel, and we're going to rename it to landing pod end. And there we go. And a landing pod end. We're going to get rid of everything we did on it. Actually, no, we're not. We are going to get rid of this, the refueling bit. And we're going to keep the docked delay. We're going to remove the on end because we don't need it. We just want the on begin overlap. There we go. And then we're going to pop this on. Pop this on up. Okay, so on begin overlap, is it a lander? Save it as lander, and then go to docked. And now when it's docked on here, we're still going to have our delay, and we're going to have it 2-second delay. Going to make sure that lander is valid and hasn't blown up yet. And then we want to tell it to go to the next level. Okay, so how are we going to set that up? Well, we are going to make a game mode. So we're going to go to blueprints. We're going to do a new folder. We are going to do core. I'm just going to call it core for the maps and modes, or modes and whatever. So we are going to go for a new blueprint class. We're going to get a game mode. Game mode. We're going to get game mode base. Select. And we're going to call this GM for game mode underscore reach the point. Okay. And reach the point is going to be the main game mode. You're trying to get to the endpoint. And then we are going to, in here, have, or let's not call it reach the point, let's call it, so game core, or GM, we'll do it campaign. I just have to, because my spelling sucks, look up how to spell campaign. No, not champagne, campaign. Barg, go away. To rename GM campaign. There we go. And I'm just going to make that a capital C. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our campaign. I'm going to open our thing, and we're going to make a new variable called levels. Okay, and that is going to be a list of names. And since it's a list, it's going to be an array. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate that, and we're going to call it level complete. And that is going to be a list of booleans. We aren't even going to have that here. Never mind. We're not going to do that at all. Because we're going to do that on the... How are we going to do that? We're going to do something like that. But I think I want to do that in a save game. So we're going to make a save game. Okay, and we're going to call this save underscore lander. And save underscore lander is going to have a few pieces of information. So variables, we're going to have a variable called deaths. Deaths. And that is going to be an integer. We're going to have a variable called wins. Also an integer. We're going to have a variable called levels. And again, that will be name array. And we're going to duplicate that to levels complete. And that will be our boolean. So we're going to save for the player how many times they've won, how many times they've failed, or how many times they've blown up, how many, or what the levels are, and if they have completed the levels. Yeah, I think that's how we will do it. Okay. And there we go. And we are going to do another blueprint class here today. We're going to do a game instance. And we're going to call that GI underscore lander. So the game instance is the first thing to load, and it's always running in the background. Or it's always accessible. It's never unloaded while you're playing the game. Okay, so that's where I'm going to handle all the saving. And if we had settings we want to carry from level to level. Okay, so we're gonna get I don't want to right click it, I want to open it. So GI lander, we're gonna have our levels, and we're gonna make that a name thing there, and we are going to have levels complete, and we're going to make that the Boolean again. When it starts, so we want, I think it is event initialize, because I don't think we have begin play. Nope. Do we have construct? Nope, so event initialize is what we've got to run off of. And when the game is initializing, we are going to look for save games. So we're going to find save. No, we are going to load save. Come on. Save. We're going to get... Does save game exist? Yes. Then we're going to get save, create save game object. We're going to save game to slot, and we're going to load slot. Load game from slot. There we go. Okay. And we are going to call our save game Lander SAV for Lander save. Or I think it uses .sav as the blah 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 whatever anyway. So we're just going to call it Lander. And then if a save game exists, so we're going to do branch. Is there a save game for Lander? We are going to load game from slot. And we want to load Lander. And then we want to promote this to a variable and call that save reference. Oh, not save red, save ref. Save ref. There we go. And then, if there is no save game, we're going to create a save game object. And we're going to select the class Lander. And then we are going to... well, we're going to set it here first. So set save game ref. And we want to then plug that in there and make a new save game. Okay. Perfect. And then we want two custom events. So we want a custom event load game. And we want a custom event save game. And there we go. Perfect. We're going to compile and save. On our variables, do we want... yeah, we're going to... because we don't have a lot of save game information, we're going to keep it loaded on the game instance all the time. So we want to have our deaths as a integer, and we want to have our wins as an integer as well. And we're just going to move save up to the top, and then levels complete, deaths, wins. Perfect. Okay. And then we want to have another custom event. Add death, or we'll just call it death. And we'll have another one, and we'll call this one win. Okay. So when we load the game, we are going to get our save game reference that we saved, and we're going to actually run our load off here. So after we've actually loaded the information, we're going to tell it to load the game. And when we load the game, we are going to get level. Come on. We need to cast this to our game type. Cast to save game lander. And then we're going to get levels. We are going to get levels complete. And then we're also going to get wins and deaths. Get wins. Get deaths. And there we go. I'm just going to line these all up nice. Now we're going to straighten our connection to levels. And then we're going to get levels and set that element. Never mind. We want to set, we want to set, we want to set, and we want to set. And there we go. That's how we want to do it. Brain is not working with a little bit of headache right now. Okay, so there we go. Pop all these in here. So when the game's first starting up, we get our save game and we save all of this information locally or within the game instance when it starts up. There we go. And we're actually just gonna pop these forward a tad, right like that. There we go. You can comment that. Load saved info. And there we go. Perfect. Then we're gonna save that. We are then going to, on save game, do the exact opposite. So we're going to get our save reference, cast to save lander, and we are going to set those values with what we have here. So we're going to set deaths, set wins, set levels, and set levels complete. Set levels complete. And we're going to pull those all in. So we're going to get to set, we're going to do get to set, and so on and so forth. There we go. And now to straighten this all up so we don't have Cthulhu running around over here. Okay, and we want levels. Then levels complete. Then these in either order, I really don't care. Now we're going to straighten that and pull it on back. And straighten and pull her on back. And straighten and pop that up there. And straighten and pop that up there. And we are going to comment this and we're going to say update save game. And there we are. Perfect. Hello, Hated. How long ago was that? Ooh, a few minutes. I have not been watching chat. Okay, so now when we have a death, we are going to get deaths, and there is a increment node, and that adds one and sets it all in one thing. And that's all we're looking for it to do. And we're going to get wins and increment. And that's supposed to set for us. Yeah. So is it just set integer by ref? Yep. So it's setting it by reference to our thingy, and cool. Little pre-made macros for us. Nice. And then we are going to save game. Okay, so we're just going to update it and then save the game, update it and save the game. Oh, we have to do the same thing over here. Deadpool Littlest, this is a Moonlander clone. So the old, fly your little Moonlander around, try to land on landing pads. So we can start our Moonlander hovering, and then we try to move it into the pad without it blowing up or tipping over, that it likes to do, like that. Yes. Just random space Leviathan. Okay, so an error I just saw there is when we're hovering above the landing pad, it was fueling us. So what we want to do is go to our landing pads and get our box collision and make it smaller. So we're going to and move it down so that it will only be when the lander actually lands on it. Not like you can hover above the pad and be refueled. Oops. Something like that. And same thing for our landing pad end, which we haven't set up yet. So we're just going to nope, not that one. We want the box, not the cube. And we're just gonna move that down. And there we go. Perfect. I'm not sure, Deadpool. There's been a few subscribers recently. I'm not sure which ones are and are not your friends. We're then going to, with this information, we are going to save the game. So we're going to save game to slot. We're going to get our save game reference. Pop that in there, and we are using the name Lander for our save game. Okay. So, when the game starts, we check if there's a save game. We either load it or make one. If we load it, we get all that information brought in. Then, if any information is changed, so the number of deaths, the number of wins, or as we increment levels later, we'll update the game as such. And there we go. Perfect. Now, let's go to our campaign game mode. So I've got it open here in a tab. And this is just a game mode with nothing in it as of yet. And what we want to do for this is have a event. We don't even need this on our game mode, do we? Just trying to think of whether to put this on the game mode, which would be important if we're doing multiplayer, but we're not. Or whether to put this on the landing pad. And I think we're just going to get it on the landing pad. We're going to go to our landing pad end. And when a object is docked on it, if the lander is valid, we are going to get current level name. Okay. Remove prefix string. Yes. Okay. And right now we're going to print to make sure that shows up in a readable thing. So our current level name is test. Perfect. And so we're going to go to our landing pad end. And we're going to make that bigger. And we're going to set it to the ground. Perfect. Okay. So our first one will refuel us. So let's fly over and be refueled and not tip over. So we're just going to do this really gently. And it said test. Perfect. That is all we're looking for. So on landing pad end, we are going to get our current level name, which is returning a string. We'll check this out in a bit. And if we tell it to open a level, is it looking for a string or a name? It is looking for a name. Okay. So we are going to convert that to a name, string to name. We are going to get game instance. Okay. We are then going to cast to GI Lander. So we're gonna pop that in there, straighten things off, make them look pretty. We are going to get levels. We are going to find item, which is going to give us an index number. Okay, because there'll be a list of our levels. We're going to straighten that off. And then we'll straighten that off. And then we want to get levels complete. And we want to set an array element. So our array is levels complete. So we're just going to straighten that off. Our index number is gotten from the level names. And then our item is going to be changed to true. Because if we've landed on here, it's saying, yes, you've completed this level. Okay. And then we'll handle our level loading later, but this will tell us that our level's correct, that we've completed a level. And then, oh, that's what we need to do. So if we go to our landing pad end, we've completed a level, and we also want to win. Call function win. Okay, so that's going to tell us the thing that we've won. We've completed the level, we're setting that here, but that's also going to save our updated information. And if we go to our lander, and we go to our movement, I think movement is where I have damage as well, right? To do this movement, input, thrust, fuel use, landing and scoring. Event hit, okay, here's the you're dead, okay. So if we hit with enough force, we are going to get game instance. We are going to cast to GI Lander. Pop that in there. Straighten that all up, make it look pretty. Then we are going to, as GI Lander, call death, which will update the number of deaths and save. And then clean that up a bit. Then we are going to, do we have a reload level? Restart. Oh, come on. There's something about redoing the level. Level. Open level. Get level. Flush. Create level. Unload streaming level. Come on. Hello, Jetstream. I'm sure there's something about reloading the level. Flush level is level loadable, visible. Reset level. There we go. I think that's what I want. Of course, we'll play a little animation. Oh no, this is resetting stats. Okay. So we will destroy actor. So our ship gets blown up. Okay, so ship gets blown up, and then we'll spawn some effects. So let's just make a comment box. Destroy ship spawn effects. That's what will end up happening there. And then we want to get current level name. We want to convert that to a name, so string to name. Oh, sorry, bad music. Annoying me. String to name. And then we are going to open level. So this is getting the current level and just reopening it. Okay. So if we crash our ship, which we should be able to go up, and you know what, let's crash it spectacularly. We're going to do that, and then we're going to come straight down. Boom. Really? Ah. Because this is all happening after we cast to our game instance, which we've not set yet. So, I'm going to go over to Edit, Project Settings. And then we want Maps and Modes right here. Game instance is going to be GI Lander. Game mode is going to be GM Campaign. Editor start map is going to be our test level. Game default map is going to be our test level. Perfect. So now if we close that and we play and we crash, then we should be able to... There we go. Crash, get destroyed, restart level. It works. We did a thing. Okay. Okay, so I think we are going to make... I was thinking of doing this as 3D, and I showed how we can. Jetstream, we are building a basic clone of Moonlander, the old arcade game. So, we've got our Moonlander, and we can fly to these different points. And if we land in one like this and don't fall over, it'll start refueling us until we're at 100% fuel. And then we can take off again. And if we get to the next one, it will end the game for us. Ooh. Nope. Don't die. Okay, that was close. Ooh. Come on. And I blew us up. Come on, get our thrust back up. There we go. And then we want to slow down and just kind of drift over here and reduce our speed. Come on, come on. There we go. And then that should flag us as game 1. But we don't have it telling us anything yet regarding it. Yeah. So yeah. And it should now be saving information for us. So if we go over and open up the thing for it. Can I open up a save game with just a text editor? Let's find out. There we go, our save game. Okay. It doesn't tell us it, but it is making the save game. So that part's working. Let's have it... Let's make a main menu so we can have it kick us to the main menu when we hit the endpoint. And you know what? Maybe we should give the endpoint to different colors. So we're going to go to materials. And we want to rename our material. So instead of material zone, we're going to call this, actually, yeah, material zone and then fuel. Zone underscore fuel. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate it and call that material zone end. And our material zone end, we're going to modify to be, what should we have our end color? So green is giving us fuel, maybe a nice blue. Let's see how that looks if we save and apply. Come on. Materials can take a while to build. There we go. So now we've got a pulsing blue. I don't think our two blues are different enough. So we are going to make the main blue on it significantly lighter. And then that's going to save. Come on. So question for those of you watching the Unreal Engine streams and Unreal Engine videos, do you prefer it being a full screen video like this? Or would you prefer it to be partially? So say it was cut off at this line, so I could have a camera and chat window, and then have the Unreal Engine editor over here in a smaller frame. Is that something you'd prefer, or do you like it where we're focusing on the learning aspect of it, so we've got the editor full front and center? Let me know what your thoughts on that, please. And then we're going to open up our zones and volumes. We're going to open up our landing pad end, and we are going to change the cube from fuel to end zone material. Gimme would like to see the chats as well. Okay. So there we go. We've got our two separate materials. Having them blink in synchronous or like at the same time, I don't like. So I am going to go in here. I think we're going to change this to a 2.6. Random value. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So we'll find out. There you go. The end zone's got a little different blinking pattern. That's not how we'll leave it forever, but at least it gives us a good way to really differentiate the two. So there we are. So we have a fuel zone, so we can have a few of these in the level, and then the point is to hop from these to finally get to the end zone. So let's then make our main menu. That's what we're going to do. So we are going to do a new folder for widgets, or UMG, either or is the naming I use for my menus. And then we're going to go user interface. We're going to make a new widget blueprint, and I'm going to call this UMG, and that's for Unreal Motion Graphics, is the service that this uses to make stuff. I'm going to call this main menu. We're then going to duplicate that and call it level menu. And then we're going to need another one, and we're going to call this one Lander HUD. And is there anything else you need? Can you show me how you made those green and blue boxes flash? Yeah, not a problem. So if we go over to materials, and I'm just going to open up the green one here, so our fuel material. So what it's doing is it's taking time, and time is acting almost like a tick function in the material. So I'll let you know just straight off, materials are not my thing. I am not good at materials at all. I know a couple little tricks, but that's about it. But what we're doing is we're getting time, we're multiplying it by a value, and then we're putting it through a sine wave, and multiplying your sine wave as a color. So basically what this is doing is over time, it's putting in a gap. So if I've got 1, it's giving us this nice slow flash, whereas if I have 2.6, I'm getting this faster flash. Okay, and then we're plugging that into a emissive color, so it's adding to the base color of it. Yeah, there's a sine and cosine node in, and you can use either. Like if we switch that over to cosine, it gets us a very, very similar effect. No, really complex and massive material. No, it's like, I know how to make basic colors. I know how to make shiny things by playing with the metallic content of it. And then I know how to make them flash. Like, that's it. But yeah, like if we put in cosine, it gives us the exact same effect versus sine. So either or. Actually, what happens if we do a tangent in here? See, this is fun. Now we just get to like plug something different in, save it, and wait for materials to update because my graphics card sucks. Yeah, we should make a chrome material for the lander. Forget actually designing mechanics and that. We're just going to play with materials now. Whoa, tangent is different. So that's what happens when you do a tangent. What happens we plug our tangent into a sine wave and then do it. And we wait for it to update. You can get a bunch of weird effects just like plugging in different math nodes into the materials. But if you start understanding them, then that's where you can actually get really interesting materials, not just like, oh, it randomly blew. There we go. So if you want to give your pilots a seizure, you do tangent and then sine. So we're just going to keep with the sine wave there. Save that and stop playing with it. Sine and tangent. So sine is a wave. It's a wave function. How to explain it? Like, to explain sine, I'd have to put you through a high school algebra course. Like it's sine or SIN on a calculator and cosine and yeah, like they're mathematical functions. Sine and cosine are making a wave. So they're making a nice soft wave. Tangent, I think, is making a square wave, which is why we're getting the blinking. So instead of being an analog wave that goes nice like that, it's like chuk 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 chuk, and big squares. Yeah. But I could be wrong on that. When it comes to waves, I know a lot more about radio waves than I do about mathematical wave functions. Sorry about that. Not going to be much good to you on that one. F5 Live. Okay, so let's make a material, and we're going to call this one Matt underscore Chrome. We're going to make a chrome material for our lander. So we are going to bring in our base color. We are going to have a vector 3 color. So we're basically plugging in a vector, which is our RGB equivalent. And I'm going to give it a... Where's an orange? Something like that as our base color, like this real dark sand color. Blend spaces, I've started playing with them a little bit. I've stayed away up from a lot of the animation and material stuff myself. I am very much the mechanic designer, a rapid prototyper, things like that. Actually making your game look pretty, I am not the guy to ask, at least not yet. One of my personal projects, I'm getting to the point where that's what I have to learn next. So we'll be getting there. We're going to put a constant into our metallic value. And I think I want a constant of 1. And then we're going to take a constant into our specular value. And I think I want that high as well. But we'll see when they load here. Okay, so that's giving us kind of like a bronzy. Is specular diffusing? So if I put that smaller, actually I have to take that to 0. Let's see what happened. Yeah, I'm so bad with shortcuts, so yeah. So you say 1, eh? Okay. I think it's the roughness I want to do. So if we do 1, no. Hold 1 on my keyboard, then left click. Okay, so I have to do it without. And then we want 0 roughness, but we don't want 0 because nothing's 0 roughness. We want like a 0.1. Come on. Oh yeah, look at that. So chrome, maybe not the right wording for it. Now we're going to put this to like a 0.2 just to see what that does to us. But yeah, that will be the color of our... Oh, that's horrible. There we go. We get some nice reflection, but it's not quite perfect. And we've got this goldy chrome color that we're going to throw on our thingy here. So we're going to edit the blueprint, and we're going to get our mesh, and we're going to set its material to chrome, which we can change the color to a black or a white to actually make it chrome later. But yeah, look, we've now got shiny gold lander, because why not? There we go. Yeah, I'm sure for the like for personal working F5, the shortcuts are fantastic. And I know that from working with things like Blender and Macromedia Flash and whatnot. It's like Photoshop and Affinity Photo. Like you need your shortcuts. But when doing a tutorial, the amount of time you spend reiterating what a shortcut does versus just doing it and typing it in and let people figure the shortcuts themselves later, it can slow down the tutorial a lot. And then if somebody jumps in partway through, it's like, oh yeah, I'm hitting number 2 on my keyboard again, or oh, a constant just appeared and they have no idea how I got it. At least if I do it the long way, everybody will know every time, no matter where they jump in. So I'm going to use the excuse I'm doing it on purpose. I wasn't previously, but I will be now. Okay, so where were we? We're going to do widgets. We're going to make a main menu. So we are going to have on our main menu, we are going to get a panel, and we're going to have a vertical panel. Vertical box. Right there. Okay. And in our vertical box, we are going to have some buttons. And have 1, 2, and 3 buttons. And our buttons are going to be set to fill the space. And our buttons are going to be set to have a 10-point spacing. There we go. And now if we grab our vertical box, we can adjust its size a bit to get the buttons that we might want. And there we go. And if we put it up something like that, and I want a... Where is special effects? There we go, background blur. So I'm going to get a background blur. I'm going to pull it in here. I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. And I'm going to... Can we not rotate it? Not this way? Okay, so we're going to have to rotate it elsewhere. So our blur strength is going to be a 0.2. We don't want it. 0.4 maybe. 0.6. 2. Okay. 1.4. And that's what we'll do for now. And then we're going to go over to transform. And we're going to pivot it. I think pivot. Nope. We're going to transform and angle and run it at an angle like so. Because I'm crazy and nobody knows what I'm doing yet. Haha. And we're going to move that in behind our vertical box. Our vertical box is on top. I want to have a odd shaped menu here. Is what we're going to do. Which big multiplayer project? I've started a few. That's the problem, is I like starting stuff, but then I'm like, I got so far, and it all kind of works, and it doesn't look pretty, and I'm not good at making things look pretty, so screw it. I am going to make something new. Okay. Oh, Zadruga. It is quietly in the works, Gimme. So it's a always going project. Even though it seems like nothing's happening, there are like, okay, a half hour or an hour thrown at it here or there. My two other projects are getting priority right now. But it is happening. I've scaled it back a lot, so hopefully it actually comes to fruition at some point. So we are going to do, so we want campaign, then we want infinite mode, and then we want quit. And there we go. Or quit can have bad connotations, so we want to put exit. People are not quitting the game, they're exiting it for now. Zadruga is no longer in a testable state, hated. Yeah, and one of my other projects is actually coming along, so Time Beats is happening pretty good. And then Blink is going to be remade because I want to do Blink as a tutorial series. So I'm going to restart it completely as a tutorial series. Okay, so there is our menu. And what we want to do is we're going to do go to maps. We're going to go to file. Now we're going to make a new level, default level. And then we are going to get rid of the ground. We're going to open up the train tool. We are going to go down to one chunk of terrain. And we're going to do some painting. Or sculpting, I guess. Haha, 101 active plugins or mods. Okay. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So we are going to use a circle brush, and we are going to do a smooth, and we are going to do a we're going to do a smooth raise. No, I don't want smooth. I want a sculpting. So I want to... Whoa, okay. We want to undo that. So how can I... Tool size, there we go. And there we go. And we're just going to make some mountains over here. Just real quick, mountain range. Yeah, happy mountains. And then we want to run some erosion on them. Then we want to sculpt a negative 0.1. No, I can't do negative values. How do I do a negative? I can't remember how to do negatives. No, we'll just add some noise to these. And then we'll re-add erosion. And then we'll go back to sculpting with a linear brush with less strength in a smaller area. Oh. And we'll just bring these up to get some harder surfaces right there, and bring this edge back up. Yeah. Yes, the last version of Zadruga would be very broken. Now, the problem with Zadruga is Zadruga needs helpers. And until I can get somebody who's willing to help out regularly on it, it's not going to happen. Okay, so we've got this here. And we're going to get rid of the player start. And we are going to add ourselves our Craplander. Wait, what? Oh, because I'm adding a mesh. I don't want a mesh. I want... Yes, I want to save stuff. Okay. For the word Zadruga, Whoa, what language was that? Anyway, it means cooperation in whatever language it was. Okay, so we're going to bring out our lander object. And we're going to rotate our lander object like so. And we're going to bring it up. Oh, we don't want to delete. We want to hit end to bring it down. And then we're going to bring a landing zone and we're going to scale it up. And we're going to move it up and move it back. Like right there. And I think that looks pretty alright, because this here is going to be our start menu. Oh, programming language. So we're using a visual programming language called Blueprints inside of Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine natively runs C# or either C# or C++. I can't remember which. But it's one of the C languages. Okay, so we are going to make a new pawn class. So we're going to do a blueprint class, pawn. We're going to call this one... Oh, caps lock is on. Menu, cam. C languages are very powerful. And we're going to add a camera. Compile and save. And then we're going to bring out our camera. And we're going to position it so that we have a nice... What do you think? Is that a good good menu look, or should we kind of give it more of a, or should we come in and and give it more something like that, and we'll bring that over, take it in some, maybe a little further out. Ooh, now it's all weird. So we're gonna zero out our rotations because we want to get our downward rotation first. So we're gonna bring us up, gonna get our rotation there, and then there, and then gonna pull it back until we get kind of the look we want. And there we go, something like that. And we're going to save our current level as maps, and we're going to call this one map underscore menu. And there we go. And we are going to, our camera, we are going to do a search for possess. Come on. Auto possess player. There we go. Player 0. So when we load in, oh, why did our lander jump away from us? Would that be better if we have it like drop in? Let's see. Oh no, because it's dying. So what if we do a actor, and we're gonna call this dummy lander, because it's just gonna be a false lander without any code, and we're going to do a static mesh. Drop it in there. We are going to choose our crap lander. We are going to choose our chrome material. We're going to save, and we're going to tell it to simulate physics. Save. Okay. And then now, can we do a... Is there a replace? Replace actors with dummy lander. Perfect. And then if we come in... it is kind of amusing. Just be like, boom. Yay, lander's here. I like that. I like that for our menu level. Okay. And then when the level starts, so I don't like doing things on level blueprints, but I find for single levels like the opening menu and stuff like that, it's perfectly fine. So we're gonna do a open level blueprint, do a begin play. We are going to create widget, straighten that off, get rid of tick because we're not going to need it, and we're going to create a widget of main menu. We are going to get player controller as the owning player. Since this is single player, we're going to do a get player controller. It is bad form to have this hard-coded to get the 0 player controller, but we're going to leave it because this is just a very, very quick project. Well, quick as in like it's done in a few hours or a few days, not like years. And then we are going to add to viewport. Perfect. So if we come in, oh, and we should set game mode. So set mode UI. Now we'll get our player controller. Our widget in focus is this one. And we're going to set show mouse cursor. I'm going to set that to true. So when the game starts up, we have a mouse cursor, we have a menu, and we've got this slightly blurred out. And we're going to change that blur to be a little more aggressive, I think. We're going to go to our main menu. And we're going to make this larger. I'm going to bring it over more. And I want to give it more of a rotation now. Something like that, so it cuts deeper into the image. And then we're going to give it a 2 instead of a 1.4. And let's see how that looks. It's a very hard edge is the problem. So if we do that as a 1.4 again, and just move it back. So basically I want the lander's feet to run into it. You know what? Fine. It works well enough. We're not making a pretty game right now. We've got the crappiest model of a lander. We have polished turd chrome and seizure-inducing landing pads. It goes with the theme of the game. Okay. So now we're going to set up some buttons. So we're going to go over to, we're going to name our buttons first. So we're going to have it button underscore campaign. We're going to have infinite, and we're going to have exit. And there we go. So we're going to compile and save all that. And gimme lies saying that it's beautiful. And we're going to have button campaign. So we're going to get button no, we don't want to get button campaign. We want to, on button campaign, do an on clicked event. So on clicked, we are going to get player controller. And again, bad form to just be getting number 0, but that's what we're doing. We are going to create widget, and we are creating the level menu widget. We are add to viewport, and we are then going to this, is it destroy? Destroy widget. No. Oh, it's remove widget. Remove from parent self. So we're removing the main menu from the viewport. Okay. And then we're going to do something similar for infinite mode. So on clicked, we're just going to remove parent, remove parent, or remove from parent. And then we will open level, and that will be our infinite level. So we'll just put TBD for to be determined. And then on the exit button, we're on clicked. We're going to have a quit game as quit. And there we go. So if we hit exit, it closes. We did a thing. Let's make ourselves a level menu. So level menu, we're going to do a nice blur background across the whole thing. So we want to just be like, boom. I mean, what is our size? Are we doing 1080 here, or? So let's try a 1920 by 1080, originating at 0, going to 0. There we go, perfect. And we are going to make the blur strength 2.5, 5, 3. There we go, 3. Just because we don't want to make it distracting, the background stuff. So we've got our lander, we go to campaign mode, the blur is not enough. So what if we do it to like 10? We go to campaign mode. There we go. Now it is very distinct that we are moving away from the main menu. Perfect. So we are going to have a button. Woo, that's not what I want to do. So I want to have a it's a grid panel I want. I think I want a canvas panel. And then in that canvas panel, I will have a grid panel. And this will be our level selection. Okay. Okay, and then we are going to sorry, I'm listening to music. I'm not just randomly starting to do crazy things with my mouth. Yeah, we want a button. It'll be down here. We want text in the button. The button should size to content. The text will be back, which will take us back to the main menu. It will actually be an arrow back because it's cuter that way. We're going to do it right there, and we are going to set its anchor to the bottom corner, so it always adjusts in size towards there. This here's anchor we want in the center. And we're going to make it 1400 by 800, so it can be negative 400 by negative 700 to get it centered. Look at that. Okay, so it is 800 pixels tall. So we want to make some grid elements for it. So this button we're going to call back. And then, we are going to make another widget. We're going to make another widget. We are going to do a new user interface widget blueprint. We're going to call this UMG underscore level element. This is an element of the level menu. Okay. And we want it to have a border behind it. The border will be 380 by 380 by 380, and it will be zeroed into the corner. It loads nicely. We are going to change its background color to be a little less aggressive. Okay. And then we are going to put a vertical box in it. Panel. Vertical box, where are you? There we go. So vertical box in it. And then we're going to put a button in the vertical box. And we want it to align to center of vertical box. And fill. And centered. And we want to put text in it. And we are going to set the text. So we need to make that a variable, and we're going to call that text underscore level name. And we're going to compile and save. And then we are going to have over top of it. So let's see. You know what? The button we actually want to fill. But we want to draw it as invisible. So we're going to do on the button style. Normal style we will draw as none. Hovered style we will draw as none. Press style we will draw as none. And there we go. So we're not actually going to see whether or not we've clicked it. All we're going to have is that box. And then we want a checky box. Where is a checkbox? Not in panels. Input. Combo box. Nope. Probably in the standard stuff right here. Right there. Checkbox. Look at that. And we're going to put the checkbox in the vertical box. And we want it to flow to the right of the box. And we want to make it larger. So we're going to scale it by like 5 by 5. Okay, maybe like 3 by 3. And we're going to give it padding of 20. Thanks, Gimme. Thanks a lot. Asshat. Such an asshat. Okay. So our vertical box, we want to align centrally. And this here, we want to fill to bottom? No. How do I get that to show up in the corner? And this to show up in the center? No, we're just going to leave it like that. Screw it. So button is going to be button level select and checkbox complete. And then we want a special effect, a background blur. We're using a lot of background blurs. But we want the background blurs to be over top of the vertical box. So how are we going to do that? We're going to take the vertical box out of the border. We are going to, in the border, put in a canvas. So panel, canvas panel. That'll allow us to put things on top of each other. The vertical box is going to go into the canvas. It'll be at 0. And our X, we're going to make it 380 wide because that's how wide everything is. And we're going to make it... Ooh, this way I can adjust the size. Yes. I'm going to make it 300 tall. And then our vertical panel... So if we do that as a size to content, but then we set our... No, our button is set to fill. So we don't want that to size to content. It seems to be overspilling. The border is 380, right? Yep. Ah, the canvas has padding. We want 0 padding on the canvas. That's why. There we go. Simple. And then we want it to be negative 50. No, we want it to be 50 down. 80 down. There we go. Now the text block is kind of more centered in there, and we got the checky box in the corner. And then we can add a blur over top of it. And the blur is going to be full size, 380 by 380. And we want it to be a very strong blur. We're going to do like 15. 12. Because we still want to see the name through it barely. So let's see, 5. Okay, something like that. Okay, so this is going to, when a level has not been unlocked yet, we won't be able to click on the button because the blur is in front of it. And we'll not be able to really see it. Okay. So now we are going to go to our graph and we're going to make a new variable and we're going to call this index. And we're going to make that an integer. Perfect. So when this is constructed, so when it is added to a menu, we are going to get index. We're going to get game instance. We are going to cast to GI Lander. We are going to then get levels. And we're going to get levels complete. And we are going to get a copy of both of those values. Okay, so this way we're going to get the name of the level and whether or not the player has previously completed it. Ha, see, we're doing things. And want to straighten connection to, sure, well, no, I want the other one first. Straighten to get levels. I'm gonna straighten that, and then we're gonna bring that guy over, and no, we'll just do it like that. And I still want that closer. There we go. Close enough to what I want. And then that means we can bring this in. So there's less crisscrossing. Okay. So we're going to get that information. We are going to get our text level name. We are going to set text. And in that, we're going to convert our name to text and set the text value. Look at that. So we've just told it what the level name is. Okay. And then we're going to get our checkbox. And we're going to set is checked to this value. So whether or not it has been completed. Straighten that off and get that. And then we are going to do, so we're going to get our index. To get index minus 1. And then we're going to an is valid index. And we're going to get our levels in that again. So I'm just going to, we're going to have a copy of these over here so we don't have to make it all big and ugly. What other commands are currently working, Gibby? Well, I'm not going to tell you now because you keep abusing the damn things. Well, not abusing them, like they're there to be used. It's just, you know, I don't like the fluffy one. It's only there because you guys like it. The bots are open on the other screen. I'm doing something right now that I'm kind of in the groove of, so I'm not going to bother to look for you right now. Ha! I'll find that information out later. Actually, maybe a full list of the chat commands will be one of the rewards for new Patreon viewers. Oh, that was a bit of information you didn't know about, did ya? That ToadNet is creating a Patreon page. Yay, news. Um, nope. uh, okay, so let's see. So we're getting the levels names. Is it valid? So if it is valid, we are going to check if it has been completed. So then we're going to get a copy of that and straighten, and then branch to true. Okay, so what we're doing here is seeing if the previous level has been beaten. Okay, so we're getting the index of this level -1. Is that valid? Yes, we'll check if that previous level's been beaten. If it is not valid, well then we're going to take away the blur because it's the first level. Right, we used to call the currency dust. Did we change the currency name? The currency name is currently... Where is it? I did set that up, I know that much. Come on. Currency. The currency name is currently points, but we will change that to dust because that's what we're using. I will change that later tonight. Okay, so if it is true that they have beaten the previous one, we are going to... we need to set our background blur as a variable. We're going to get background blur, and we are going to remove from parent. And we're going to do the same thing right there. We're going to straighten that off. And move that there and bring that in. So there we go. So this will make a grid. Well, we'll be placing these in a grid, and they're going to find out based on their index value what is the whether it's been finished, what the level name is, and whether it should be unlocked. Oh, why are you asking me questions about that right now? Okay, so is this the YouTube chat or is this the other chat? This is the YouTube chat. So YouTube usage, currency, stream chat. Yes, it looks like you're doing it right, so it must not be properly implemented. So I will work on the bots later. Okay, so we've got that going on, so we're going to compile and save our level element. And there we go. So now if we go back to our level menu, we want to do a onConstruct. Want to get game instance cast to GI Lander, and then we are going to get levels, and then we are going to for each loop. we are going to create widget. And we're going to create a widget of class level element. And as level element, we are going to set index. Index is going to be the index. Okay. And then we are going to add to we need to make this grid panel a variable. So we're going to panel, add a child, content is that. So for each level, we are going to add a child component to the grid panel. So let's go in and make some test levels. So, well, just in the thing. So if we go to GI Lander and we go to levels and we make some levels. We're going to have 3. We're going to have test, which is an actual level. We're going to have pointy spike death and noobs. And then this here, we need 1, 2, 3 entrances. And we're going to have it that we've completed test and we've completed pointy spike death. So let's see if this works. If we go to campaign, it doesn't work. Why don't you work? And we haven't set up back button yet either. Why, oh, why do you not work? So for levels, we're getting information. We should be adding child. So let's print string when it creates an element. So we're going to compile and save. And when we hit campaign, it should say hello 3 times. It's not saying hello at all. We're going to print string fail. It's not failing to cast. Okay. So it's getting that. So it should print fin 3 times. Why, oh, why? Oh! Oh. So, because we've already set up our landing, or sorry, not landing, our save system, when it loads the game, it is setting it to 0 because of the save game. So, we need to open up the folder. So in case you guys ever run into this problem yourselves, so you have to go find on your disk your game, Moonlander, and then under saved, save games, we're going to get rid of our Lander save. Perfect. So now we open this. I love how it randomly crashes differently each time because physics. And then that means I have to replug in this. So we should get hello 3 times. We should get 3 panels. So if we hit... Why, oh why, are you not working now? So I need this, get player controller. Again, bad form to just be hard coding this to 0. But this is just a test project, so I don't care that much. Okay, so we are going to go into the save game. And we are going to make the levels here. So we're going to do test, pointy death, and noobs. And we're going to tell it that we have completed the first 2. Okay. And now, if we open up and get rid of our save game, there we go. Oh. So, here's the new problem. We need to make them iterate in space, which I thought the grid panel did for us. Is that not exactly what the grid panel's for? So if we go down to panels and we look up grid panel, panel evenly distributes available space between all of its children. So it's supposed to automatically divvy up thingies. Like it's supposed to put them in a grid. So why, oh why, does it only do that properly? So let's replace that with a unified grid. So we're going to replace with uniform grid panel. Okay. And that means instead of grid panel here, we're going to put in uniform grid panel. And if we do that, why are you not making a nice grid for us? Oh. Is there like a way to force this to update? Why? Why are you not working? So we're adding it to the child to be a child of uniform grid, which should put it as a uniformly arranged grid. Okay, that's the whole point of that damn thing. Is that just a bug? So here's the other thing, is it might be a level bug. So I'm gonna do a search for UE4 uniform grid panel, add child stacked. Adding child to uniform grid panel question. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so try to make inventory, adding inventory cells by blueprint. Checked is variable from uniform grid panel, inventory grid panel. Cells are grid cells that I try to add to the panel. And let's see his image. So add child to grid. That element, yep. Maybe we have to set variables in it. I thought it was supposed to automatically do it because that's what it says. If I got your problem, what cells don't appear in uniform grid? Fill your cell array with element details. Didn't really help at all. But we will see if the slot padding, we don't want anything. Anybody else got any ideas on this? Slot widths, we want 380 and 380. So if I tell it to put the slots in certain sizes, will it? No, it's still stacking them on top of each other. Okay. Set row. Row, no. Slot. Slot is border, slot is canvas, slot is as horizontal box. Set slot width. Get slot. I have no idea why this isn't working. Because it should just be filling that grid, and the grid is, because it's supposed to be a grid, laid out for us. And I know that's worked in the past for me. You know what? Let's replace it with a wrap box. Replace with a wrap box. And we'll set our wrap box as a variable, and we will replace it, and we'll see if the wrap box does what I want it to do. Come on. And we're adding a child to wrap box. And there we go. That is exactly what we're looking for. Except for noobs should be grayed out and not be able to be clicked. So we have to find out why. But these are saying, hey, here's the names. This one's been completed. This one's been completed. This one here has not been completed. We need to deactivate these so we can't actually click on them. But that's doing that. We need a... On this, we need a slot padding of 10. So that there's 10 points of space off the side of everything. And there we go. So we should be able to get 4 of those, I think. So we're going to be 800, 1600. We want 1600 wide. We are 1400 wide, so we want 1600 wide. And that means we want to be negative 800. Be centered, perfect. Okay. So what did I screw up in our slot element? Is it valid? If true, check if the previous level is complete. If true, remove... Oh, because the last level is completed, it's working as properly. Because we've completed the 2 previous levels, it's letting us reach the next level. That's what it's doing. Okay. So that is working as intended. I just set up our test poorly, and now I've got the hiccups. Woo. So we're going to delete our save game. And we are going to go in and edit on our save. We do not want number 1 to be valid anymore. Actually, we want to bin all those, and we want to bin all those, and we want it to run from the game mode. Because, yeah. So if we uncheck that, because it's not being overwritten by loading yet, because we will not have a valid save game. And then if we go here, there we go. But we can still click the button underneath. So that is the issue, is we're still clicking the button underneath. So, and we need to turn off those. Okay. So UMG elements, we are going to go and choose our checkity box. It will not be focusable, and it will not be enabled. So now if we play... What? Oh, it made a new save game for us. Have to delete the save game to do our test. Okay, so now if I hit play... I don't like them looking disabled. So we want them to look like they're enabled, but we don't want them to be visible to user, but only as art. Cursors will not. There we go. So it won't put it in the disabled, and I have to delete the save game first, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, why'd the... Like, the music went to be like, okay, and then it was like, okay, maybe a little bit aggressive, and now it's just like super lame. And there we go. Let's try a different channel. Okay, so we deleted our save game. And now you're going to play. And it shows up, but they don't click. Nice! And if we click here, yes, the words still click. So as long as we click like up anywhere in the middle, as long as we don't click on the bottom edge or the top edge, that is beautiful. Okay. So that is functioning as intended. We haven't set up the back button yet, though. So on our button back. What? Where's... Oh, because I'm on the wrong thing. So we want to go to our level menu. And we want to get our button back. And we'll take away our print screens because we don't need them anymore. And button back. On clicked. We want to remove from parent. We want to get all widgets of class. And we want to get main menu. And we want to get the first one. Want to do an is valid. No. The other is valid. Is valid. And we're going to plug that in there. Okay. And then we want to, if it is valid, pull off and do an add to viewport. And if it is not valid, we want to create widget. So the reason we're doing this, instead of just creating the main menu again, is when we removed it, it may not have actually been deleted from memory yet. So if it's still in memory, we're adding it back to the viewport instead of creating it, so that we don't have like multiple duplicates of menus. For our case, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But on a larger project with menus or sub menus, or like you start getting like a large inventory and all those items from your inventory have now been created 7 times in memory, it can start causing some issues. Gonna get player controller. Again, bad form to be doing this as a hard 0. We should be finding out what our player controller is, but we're not gonna bother right now because we're only ever gonna have the one player on this. And then we are going to add to viewport. So this here removes the level menu and goes back to the main menu, either reopening it or creating a new main menu. So if we go to campaign, we can go back and campaign and back. Okay. So what we're going to do to fix a problem for ourselves is when we create a save game object, we are going to create a save reference, and instead of saving game to slot, we are going to run our own save game event. So it will update it. If there's not a previous save, it will update it with the levels that we want there. So that I don't have to keep restarting the game every time we run it. So now if I hit play, campaign, test, pointy spiky death, and the next one, and we are going to now make these load levels for us. That is what we want to do. We want to open our level element, go to our graph, and if this is false, we want to disable our level select button. I'm going to get level select button. Set enabled to false. So this way, if the previous level has not been beaten, we are going to not allow them to click this one and get into it, even though it's blurred out and not supposed to be accessible to the player. Yes, that is what we're doing. And we're just going to close everything because I've got a lot going on now, and we are going to make some actual levels. So we have the test menu. Fine. So we've got test. We'll duplicate test, and we'll have test 1, and we'll duplicate test 1 to have test 2. Okay, and we're going to open up test 1, save everything, and test 1, the exit 1 is going to be raised, and on test 2, we are going to start in the air. Okay, so we've got test 1, test 1, test 2. So now if we go to our GI Lander, we can go test 1, test 2, set up our levels, and we want to set them all to 0. And then we want to get rid of our save game again. Not UE4 projects, GitHub projects. Moon Lander. Saved, save games. Moon Lander, get rid of it. There we go. Now if we play, oh, Okay, there's no way to respond fast enough to that. Okay. So we'll put that on the end and we'll put the fuel one up. And we'll save and we will go to our main menu. Map menu. Okay. Woo! Moonlander game. Campaign. Test is the only one available to us because the other two don't work. If I hit test, nothing happens because we haven't set that up yet. So we're going to go to our widgets, our level element, and we're going to get to our graph. So now, button level select, we are going to do an on clicked. We are then going to copy this bit right there. And no, we're just going to redo it. Get game instance. Cast to GI lander. Get levels. Get a copy from the index. There we go. Yeah, straighten that off. Bring this up. Straighten that. Go to straighten that. Getting our index. And then we want to open level. So, if we go to campaign mode and we go to test, we've opened up the test level. And it does not reset us back to gameplay. So we need to get player controller, set mouse cursor, set show mouse cursor, defaults. And we want to set game mode. So set mode to game only. Straighten connection to reroute node. And there we go. So we go test. So now we can control our chip, and we're just gonna come on. And we want to come on. I think the rotation may be a bit too aggressive. There we go. Nope. Just drop. You. We need to fix that. Okay, so we're just gonna come over here. We're gonna slow down. Ooh, we're gonna speed up our thrust. And then we want to reduce thrust, so we're gonna be falling. Come on, we should be reduced to not have hover anymore. Okay, now we should be hover strength. Now we should not be hover strength. Come on, fall. I don't know where the ground is. Okay. So we're gonna go campaign. We're gonna play test. Oh, I had already beaten test apparently at some point. Okay. So we're gonna hover. We're just gonna again bump it a little bit. We're gonna drop it so that we're not hovering anymore, but we're still thrusting a bit. And then up to hover, and then down, down, down. And that is a landing. Okay. So now if we hit exit and we go to play, campaign, we have beat number 1. Let's go to number 2. We're gonna increase our thrust. Oh, is this the high one? Yeah, this is the high one. Ooh. Come on. Now I'm rocking it too much. Oh, I hit it too hard. So I just want a little sideways momentum. And then we want to start falling. Come on, start falling. Then increase our thrust to reduce our fall, and then start falling again. And just, oh, I'm at a hover. So we want to just fall a little bit, but keep our, come on, get back into hover. Start falling a little bit, get back into hover. Come on. Come on. You, I'm swinging. Oh, I'm overcorrecting. I know what I'm doing. Calm down. Damn it. I'm like way overcorrecting. And I hit too hard. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so we just want to really slight, and then we're going to reduce our hover, slow it down, increase so that we're not falling. Come on. Nope, increase more. Don't run into the side of it. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's try this again. I think we need to like preset the throttle and preset the rotational pitch. Oh. Oh. Oh, and now we're yeah. Then we went into 3D flight mode instead of 2D flight. We're just all over the damn place. Come on, we're gonna take off. There we go. And just a real gentle. And then we're gonna let it start falling. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. That's how you do it. And then we set her down. And we wait a moment. It doesn't actually tell us when we've completed it yet or not. So we have to fix that. But that should be it. So now if we exit, we should see that we've completed test 2. Now if we go on to the last test level, so we have to go over the first overcorrecting. Come on. And then a little more thrust, and drop it. No, okay. And you're just gonna go up. Come on. Rough landing, but we landed it. We're within the end zone, so we should see that we've completed all the levels. Huzzah! Okay. So, we now have a lander game where we can make levels, and we can have them dynamically populate via list and unlock as we complete the previous one. We'll show player stats down here next time. We will also next time work on handling a bit. So HUD, players' stats, and handling will be what we do in the next section of this. But yeah, we've got a little Moonlander game. I will be immediately after I start the stream here, uploading this to GitHub and then putting it in the YouTube description. So if anybody wants to re-go through this or pick up the project to follow along within or to deconstruct it themselves, it will be available as a free download on GitHub as an open source project. And that will be in the YouTube video descriptions. So same title as you're seeing on Twitch or Mixer, just head on over to YouTube and you can pick it up there. Thank you all for viewing. We will see you next time when we finish up, I guess, the Moonlander game. I think like once we have a HUD and we've got player stats. Oh, and we're going to do an infinite mode. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do chunked levels that we can add. And we're going to remove the 3D. We're only going to make it a 2D movement. Yeah. Like 3D is a neat idea, but to get the controls handling right, we'd be completely rewriting this. And for a quick project, we'll just make a 2D one that you can all play with. So yeah, that's that. We'll see you later. And yeah, once we get this finished, we'll have to set up a scoring area for us to all share our infinite mode high scores. Well, bye for now.